Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. A transfer triangle taking place at our beloved Chelsea. We are very much amongst it, very much involved with Atletico Madrid in this transfer triangle. It's not quite Badiashile, Aubameyang and Giroud, but it is Samuel along with Gallagher and Alvarez obviously going from Manchester City to Atletico Madrid. And I mean, before I get into it, thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Let's run the clip before I get involved. Big up FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video more than you can believe, guys. This is an official communication. FlexiSpot have set me up with an absolute tap-in with this new FlexiSpot E7 Pro standing desk, giving me the capability and the flexibility to give you guys videos with different viewpoints. I might sit, I might stand, I might elevate, I might even levitate, all with the click of a button, as you can see. And I've been even going to the gym recently and it's holding my weight fantastically. So it can certainly hold any equipment you plan to place on its shoulders. It's a carry job. You can set your own heights, as I said, and I'm a happy boy. FlexiSpot have an 55% off sale for their 8th anniversary on a Tide discount promotion, win 99% off on their August 9th and 29th sales. Head to the links in the description to cop yours during their anniversary sale. The chairs are unreal as well. Big up FlexiSpot every time. So there you have it. Now, listen, I'm going to keep it completely honest, right? We've signed Samuel Omorodion, 20 years old, 7-year contract plus one. We know it can only amortize for 5 of those years, the first 5, but it's a 7-year plus 1 year deal. He's 20, he's 6'5", he's offering a different outlet to Jackson, and I'm just going to compare him to Jackson for now because they've obviously both come from La Liga in the last couple of seasons. Now, first of all, just my rough feelings and emotions, I guess. I don't know about you guys, but I am starting to lose any real emotion or not care, but any real, I don't really feel anything. When we sign players, I don't feel anything. There's probably a couple of reasons for that. First of all, too many players. We're just signing so many players. It's like every day we sign players. Today, we've signed Aaron from Boca Juniors, young centre-back. He'll be going back out on loan to Boca Juniors for the season. And it's just so much volume that it's tough to really not only keep up with it, but also feel like it's business that is going to make serious difference in terms of our season. He's a player that scored 9 goals at Alvarez last season. Atletico Madrid, thankfully, I guess, were disappointed to let him go. Bayer Leverkusen were interested. These are the things I'm kind of grabbing onto to hope and pray that he's a player that can make some sort of impact. And I guess the best I can hope for a player that's 6'4", quick, tall, physical attributes are there, is that he can maybe be a player that comes off the bench and gives us a different option in terms of being able to get crosses into the box, being able to hit him aerially. He got 2 goals out of his 9 from headers, a couple with his right foot, a couple with his left, and a couple counter-attack goals as well. So it's a decent variety of goals. But when you see Datro Fofana leaving potentially to Leicester with an obligation, when you see there's no clear plan, route for Washington, when you see, you know, players just in, out, for whatever reason, whether it's to make money, can only really be the only reason. It's difficult to really attach yourselves emotionally to when players come in because we don't know what the reasoning for why they're here. Is it to help us win trophies? Is it because we truly believe that they can help us on the football pitch right now so we can achieve our targets for top 4, for winning trophies? Or are they here? Are we just signing Samuel today so he can go in a couple of years for 45 million, make a 10 million profit? Is that why we've signed him? I don't know anymore. Because if you had told me that we were signing this player with an experienced, seasoned striker in front of him who was banging in 15, 20 goals a season, I would have said really good. Because this guy brings that age balance that we talk about, the Tammy Abraham to the Giroud, the Aspilicueta to the James, brings that balance that most top teams have in positions. Even Carvajal at Real Madrid, and they're looking to try and sign reportedly Achampong along with PSG to bring that balance, to have that next player to kind of take over the baton if this was the Olympics, right? So young players are needed. Young players are a necessity to long-term grow your club and go into the future. But it feels like we're just, again, putting the manager in a precarious position where, regardless of how talented this striker is, and I could say this for every single person we sign, I'm sure he has some talent. I'm sure Bayer Leverkusen were interested because he has some talent. But what do you surround that talent with? Do you surround it with some balance? Do you surround the manager with balance so he doesn't have to depend upon, rely upon, ask of a lot from many young players, and many young players in their debut or second season, many young players that don't have the kind of, they're not ready to take on the mantle, they're not ready to take on the pressure for Chelsea to, you know, perform at the highest level. It's a lot, it's a big weight on their shoulders. And obviously now everybody's probably upbeat that he's come in because he's new, but it only takes 6-7 weeks of his finishing not being quite what it needs to be, missing some big chances which could cost us points if Jackson was to get injured, and people will no longer have a care for this dopamine that we have now. No one will have this kind of, oh, we've got a new player. New players have to deliver if called upon. So we're putting a lot of pressure on Jackson because he's clearly going to be our leading striker. His ball striking ability needs to improve. His finishing needs to improve for all of his really good work outside of the box. And this player here, I'm sure, like I said, he's got some nice attributes. He's a different profile. He's a different option. I'm sure he's got talent. But if Jackson gets injured, if Jackson's not in form, can we depend upon this striker? It's a risk you take when you're trying to sign players just before they're about to potentially blow. You know, just before they're about to blow up. Because that is something that we didn't do when Tchouaméni was at Monaco. It's something that the previous regime maybe could have improved on. So we're going in that direction, and we might, as we did with Augusto, get a gem. We might find someone just before they're about to hit the precipice of performance. However, we take a lot of risks as well, and we take a lot of risks with our season, with our achievements, and we potentially may lose money in places in the Premier League, not winning trophies, not being in certain competitions like Champions League, because we take these risks. So there's I guess there's pros and cons to doing this, but I do believe it's excessive. I do believe that having this many developing strikers in one squad is unnecessary. I would like to see just one alternative to young strikers, just one player that can say they've been there and done it a bit more in the Premier League, just so we have a bit of more assurance, a bit more security in what we're trying to do. A little bit better for the manager to say, I can count on him, I can rely upon him, I know he's going to deliver, I know he's going to deliver. So then you can focus your attention more on said youngsters that we're recruiting to develop them and to improve them. Because if I give you a class of 20 idiots, I'm not saying these guys are idiots, but they're young, they're developing, they need to learn. So if I say I give you a class of 20 idiots, the teacher might be incredible, but if you've got to teach 20 idiots, it takes a lot longer to get them all to the level. You might not get all the idiots to be smart. You might not get all the idiots to pass their exams. But if you've got 5, 6, 7 smart students or average students mixed in there, and you've got a balance in your class, suddenly now you can teach the idiots a little bit more. You can give them a bit more one-to-one time. Tell them how to do their mathematics and their workings out. Show them how to do fractions. Because the smart kids, you just give them the work and they just write and they just go along their merry way and get their A's. They just need to be told what to do, not how to do it. Obviously, it would be lovely if we had nothing but world-class smart students in this school and we could just win everything, but that ain't happening. So, it's tough. And it's very stressful for said teacher, Maresca. Very stressful for you in your first season in the Premier League. I hope you're ready. So yeah, listen, for me, it's just one of those situations where Chelsea have paid 34 million for this player. I really hope, again, as I say all the time, that he has the ability to, contribute off the bat, because he's going to need to in some capacity. Like I said, we never know. Touch wood, no injuries, but you never know. He might be thrown into the hot seat sooner than we think. And Gallagher obviously left for 36 million. It ended up being 42 million euros. So 2 million. Now, this kind of gave me vibes of the Kellyman Maatsen deal with Aston Villa, this was not PSR influenced at all. It was more the board really just wanting to sell Gallagher so badly. Maybe there's pure profit in there, maybe there's something systematic in there, maybe it's a blend of both, but they've managed to conduct the deal together with Samuel to get this all done. And obviously we know Alvarez has gone to Atletico Madrid for about £81.5 million, which that had to happen for Atletico to allow Samuel to leave, for Chelsea to give Atletico the Samuel money with Gallagher, for them to actually now allow us to get Samuel. So yeah, it's one big triangle, one big weird messed up triangle. And like I said, we signed Aaron from Boca Juniors for about 19.6 million, and he's going to go back to Boca Juniors. Will we ever see him, the centre back, the young Argentine? Will we ever see him in the first team? We don't know. We don't know. But it takes our to wrap up, it takes our list of players coming in this season to obviously Dewsbury Hall, Jogerson as well, the goalkeeper, Kellyman, Renato Vega, Wiley, Gue, and Tosin. And now a couple of extra additions in this video. So if I'm being completely honest, it's not the most inspiring window. It doesn't look great on paper, I'll be honest. It's not what I wanted in terms of key top players in 4 positions and leave it alone. We're going to potentially look like signing 10 plus players in this window. We've already signed 8, 7. So yeah, we'll see how this all unfolds next season. Hopefully, like I said, as I keep on saying, the people that were injured last season, the top players, or the players that potentially can be top players, and in Nkunku, Lavia, hopefully they can keep themselves fit, Reece James, and they can help our points tally, help us at both ends of the pitch, and help us improve. I think a lot of the players we've signed in this list that I've just read out are going to be bit part players, make very, very minimal differences, if that. Gue, what happens to Gue? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Do we keep Gue and maybe try and... I mean, Maresca's already come out and said Jackson's not going to move to the left wing because he doesn't see him as a left winger. So it kind of does, even though we did say we'd look at Gue in pre-season and it seemed like Maresca really liked him, it looks like Gue will have to go out on loan, because 3 strikers for 1 position, if there is no injury, will they get the game time? I guess the one point you could make is we're going to potentially play 70 games this season. We've got Conference League now. There's going to be a Club World Cup in the summer. You maybe can say 3 strikers we're going to give a bit of game time. But this is where I go back to having 3 young strikers. They all kind of need game time. They all need to be developed. And that's not healthy for them to be third choice. Whereas if you had an older striker and they were just there to give you a little bit of assurance, they don't necessarily need as much game time because they've already clocked up the miles. So it's a bit healthier. But Jackson is versatile, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, Nkunku's there as well. He's being tried at the 9. We'll see what happens, people. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below about this signing. What do you make of our transfer business so far in terms of all the players I've just kind of named that we've recruited, that we've brought in? And yeah, let me know how you feel about it. And big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.